Okay, real quick. Conversation I had, someone was asking a question about going to the emergency room. So let me tell you a couple of things. One, all doctors are not created equal, meaning when you go to the emergency room, that is an emergency room doctor. Just think of him as a generalist. So when you go to a restaurant and you order food, sometimes you have a head chef, you have a sous chef, so you have people on the side. So the person in the emergency room is a generalist, meaning he knows a lot about a lot of different things, but he is not necessarily the person who's going to perform surgery on you. And he's definitely not the person that you want to go to if you have an autoimmune disorder that you need diagnosed. And that's because that's not in his scope. That's not what he was trained to do. That's not what she was trained to do. That person is trained to review some general things, understand some other things may be a possibility, and say to you, hey, you need to go see your primary care. You need to go see someone else for these other things. Your arm's broken, I can fix that. So I had a person say to me, I feel kind of disenchanted when I go to the ER and they don't take care of my problem. They're not going to take care of all of your problems. Another thing you have to understand is that when you go to the ER, there are tests that they cannot order. Laboratory medicine person here for 30 years. So they can't order certain tests pertaining to your autoimmune disorder or your cancer. Yes, they order the basics, the CBC, the comprehensive metabolic panel. And from there, they say, go see someone who specializes in oncology, rheumatology. So you go to these other doctors because that's what their specialty is. And when you go to the other doctor, yes, the other doctor, rheumatologist, is going to know something about oncology, and that person is not a specialist in oncology. That's why they send you to the specialist in oncology. Next thing, your herbs. So people say to me, I went and this doctor didn't even know anything about my herbs. That's not what they're trained to do. A lot of doctors are not even trained to understand nutrition. It really depends on if it's a functional medicine doctor or if it's a doctor who went the traditional path or how long the doctor has been practicing. If the doctor is just getting started, he might have more information than a doctor who's been in it like 40 years. Take it from me personally, I've seen it. And then there's some doctors who are aware of what's happening just because they see a lot of patients coming in who are on a certain herb. So they end up, finding out more about it. You know what they have in the hospital? They have pharmacists. Pharmacists specialize in drugs. Pharmacists specialize in knowing what medications are and medication interactions, right? Okay, so if you go to the emergency room, you should be going because you have an emergency. And when you go to the emergency room, do not expect for the emergency room doctor to resolve your herbal issues. Do not expect for the emergency room doctor to resolve your cancer. Cannot be done in the emergency room. It can be an entryway, a gateway, but it cannot be done in the emergency room. And do not expect them to resolve your autoimmune issues, nor to diagnose you with an autoimmune disorder. You may hear them say you may have. That is not a diagnosis that you have, because the ER is not ordering autoimmune tests because they will not get reimbursed for it. I know. Okay. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this clears it up so it saves you some frustration when you're going to the ER.